Welcome, everyone. It is Friday, January 16th. We have made through yet another week of 2026. Glad to see everybody. Got a lot of comments already coming in, which is great. Of course, it's Friday. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to have some serious discussions as well, but we have a lot to cover. We have meltdowns from Donald Trump. We got a meltdown from Elon Musk. We got a massive meltdown from Caroline Levitt. And believe it or not, even a meltdown from Pam Bondi. So, yeah, kind of seems like every single person connected to this administration is just having a meltdown. But Trump's obviously one of the most severe because, of course, he's threatening to cancel the midterms for the second time in a week and a half. Donald Trump spoke to Reuters this week in an interview that was published on Thursday, where he once again suggested canceling the midterms because, as he put it, he knows Republicans are going to lose. And as he stated last week, two Republicans in their little, get together, they're going to impeach me if you guys lose. So he's worried about being impeached for a third time, which I think we could probably get a third, fourth, fifth, sixth up in there. And he's now openly, repeatedly suggesting that we cancel the midterms. But here's what he said to Reuters. It's some deep psychological thing, but when you win the presidency, you don't win the midterms. When you think of it, we shouldn't even have an election. When you think of it, I mean, obviously when you start applying some logic to it, you're like, hey, who needs voting? Who needs to have this democratic republic that we have, right? I mean, who needs a democratic system when you've already won the last election? So I think it's good. We just pack it up, call it a day, and no more elections, right? I mean, that's a lengthier version of what Donald Trump just said. When you think about it, we shouldn't even have elections. No, when you think about it, we should have elections because you don't have to really even think about it because that's actually what the Constitution itself calls for. So, when you think about that, you realize that, nope, actually, this is a legally mandated thing that we have to do. So I'm not sure exactly what he thinks we should be thinking about, other than, of course, the rule of law here in the United States and the governmental system that is the backbone of this entire nation. You take that out, we die. But, well, first of all, that's not even one of the only crazy thing Trump said. I'll get to the other one in a second. But we, as a country, are required to have elections. The date is set by the federal government. The manner in which the elections are conducted is set by the states. The polling locations, early voting, mail-in voting, things like that, the states have control over that. This is a very clear, spelled out process. And the dates, again, set by the federal government are also mandated by the Constitution. Every, certain time interval, depending on the public office, these elections are held. But when Trump repeatedly says something, that is a good indication that this is now deeply rooted in his demented brain, and it's something he is going to keep doing or pursuing. Either because he gets a rise out of people when he does it, like when he teases, I'm going to run in 2028 as well. No, you're not. You're going to be a vegetable by then. Or canceling the elections, which is something I think he would try. He admires the fact that Zelensky, it's the only thing he likes about Zelensky, had to cancel their elections due to the war. He commented on that back in, August or September? So we know this is something that has been on his mind for months and months and months. And since he no longer has the ability due to the advancing, decay in his brain to hold those thoughts in, they're all coming out. So we get to hear when he has these crazy thoughts because he's no longer capable of internalizing them. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get more intense. And if Republicans themselves do sense that, hey, we're going to get our butts whooped in November, they may be on board for it, right? I mean, if you know you're going to lose, why not cancel the game? You just get to keep on going. You don't tarnish your record. You get to keep your job. And it saves you all the hassle of having to go and talk to those plebes out there while you're campaigning. It's a win-win for Republicans. But it's a lose-lose situation for, of course, the United States of America and the rule of law. Super chat came through here. Definitely want to get to this real quick. Says, a little something for the swear jar, 50 Shades of Beige. Thank you so much for that. Very generous. We certainly appreciate it here. As I said, though, that wasn't the only crazy thing Trump said. Trump was also presented by Reuters with the information that, hey, nobody likes your idea of taking Greenland. So, you want to back off of that? You want to not do this because everybody hates it? Not just in the United States, but around the globe, everybody kind of hates it. And here's what Trump said to that. A lot of times, you can't convince a voter. You have to just do what's right. And then a lot of the things I did were not really politically popular. They turned out to be when it worked out so well. In other words, that's Donald Trump saying, oh, the voters don't like it. Here's something for you voters. I'm going to do it anyway. So that's not good, right? I mean, look, I didn't think that these polls showing the Greenland invasion was hugely unpopular was actually going to sway Donald Trump. But now he almost seems more hell-bent on taking Greenland now that he knows people don't want him to, because he wants to prove himself right. And that's what his statement means. Like, oh, I do a lot of things that nobody likes, but then everybody likes them. First of all, no. Yes, you do a lot of things that everybody doesn't like, but then you're like, but then they work and everybody likes them. Name one instance. Name one instance of something that Donald Trump did that was not popular at the time, that then worked out well, that then became popular. One thing. Anybody in the comments, one effing thing that fits those criteria. You can't because he didn't. Like, that never happened. But he thinks it did. And so he's going to do the same thing with Greenland. Even as we have Tom Tillis and Lisa Murkowski traveling to Denmark today to go apologize for Trump and assure everybody he's not totally insane, he's going to do it. He is 100% going to do this. It is not going away. It is a thing that is now going to happen. And I don't know, like, what advice to give beyond that. Like, we just have to deal with it. I mean, we can't stop him, right? I mean, the public has said we don't like it. We could all take to the streets if we want, but we can't physically stop him from attempting to do this. So we do just kind of feel powerless at the moment. We're watching our dictator do whatever the hell he wants, and we are powerless. Oh, Congress, we're going to pass more powers and say he can't do it. When has that stopped him? I mean, the courts have told him, hey, you can't do the things you're doing. And he's like, well, we're going to do them anyway. And the courts are just like, well, I don't know then. I guess he can. He is. Why not? That's the point we're at in this country. Like, every institution, including the public, telling Trump, no, you can't do these things. No, we don't want these things. And this demented old geezer is still out there like, well, I'm going to do it anyway because why not? So there you have it. A couple of super chats came through here. This one from Adam Bryceland says, even though the USA has the most powerful military on earth, they can't fight all of NATO and Canada or Mexico either. Do Americans really want this? No, we don't. We genuinely do not. And look, even if we could fight all those countries militarily and win, they would kill us financially. Those are all our trading partners. Those are the people we depend on, not just for buying things, but for tourism. I mean, Vegas right now, and I've mentioned this before, but it's astounding. Vegas is suffering tremendously, tens of thousands of layoffs in 2025 due to the fact that the Canadian tourism to Vegas dropped so much, just from Canada alone, crippled one of the most powerful cities on the planet, one of the most popular cities on the planet. So, yeah, we might be able to bomb them into oblivion, but they can turn around and basically nuke us financially. So we may win the battle, but we would in fact lose the war if we're even able to win the battle. Another super chat from Alistar Dreamer says, oh, biscuits, I'm sorry I'm late, Farron. Here's a few pennies to hopefully help ease the weekend and treat yourself. Greetings from the UK, good sir. Well, thank you very much. And no worries about being late, folks. I've been a couple minutes late before too. I've been early on these sometimes. In fact, usually about 8:50 my time, I'm sitting here, got everything typed out and ready to go, just waiting to push the go live button. So yeah, I mean, maybe I'll be early some days, maybe I'll be late. So don't worry about it. If you're not here for the beginning, the whole thing does go up later, so you can also see that. Let's move along because Donald Trump is not the only one suffering from insane meltdowns. Elon Musk, the guy whose new chatbot Grok is now taking over the entire U.S. military. Segment on that coming up a little bit later today. But Elon Musk this week called for the imprisonment of teachers, educators here in the United States if they have the audacity to accurately teach American history. Something that Elon Musk, of course, was not a part of. He's not even a natural-born U.S. citizen. He's South African. Yet he is out here accusing other people of committing treason for educating children. Here's what happened. Elon Musk gets on his failing Twitter social media, and he shares a poll that says this. 45% of students said they had been taught that America was built on stolen land, while another 22% said they'd heard it from an adult at school. So before I get to Musk's comment, let me read that again so that everybody understands what this poll is actually saying. 45% of students said that they had been taught that America was built on stolen land, while 22% said they'd heard it from an adult at school. You do see the problem with the way that's worded, right? Only 22% said they'd heard it from an adult at school. The adults, by the way, are the teachers. So the 45% who said they'd been taught that are not necessarily saying that we were taught it in school or taught it by a teacher, because only 22% said adults in school had said it, not even taught it, but said it. We heard it. So right off the bat, this poll is not saying what Elon Musk wants people to think it is saying. And that is why, folks, it is always so damn important to read the words the pollsters use. Read the responses that people give. Because it's not always just that bottom line number. It's the phrasing. It's the responses. Okay? Words matter. But Elon Musk said, as he posts this poll, he says this. Teaching people to hate America fundamentally destroys patriotism and the desire to defend our country. Such teaching should be viewed as treason, and those who do it imprisoned. Imprisoned. Treason for teaching kids that America was built upon stolen land, which it was. I mean, that's not even debatable, Elon. Historians agree. Statistics agree. There were more than 300 different events, from genocides to forced migrations of indigenous people here in the United States throughout our history. Over 300 instances. We're coming up on our 250th birthday. So if we were to average it out from the founding of the country to today, it's more than one per year that they have experienced. So again, not debatable, not an opinion, factually accurate American history. But I love the fact that this guy, an immigrant into the United States, naturalized citizen, I honestly don't know. But he's like, defend our country. It's not your country, bro. You have another country. We would all love for you to go back to that. I'm not saying that people who become naturalized citizens, of course, cannot call this their country. I'm kind of using the same logic that Republicans are using against the brown people that they're trying to deport in record numbers. Why not apply that to Elon Musk? Oh, because he has money and because he looks white, right? That's right. That's right. So we can't obviously apply their same logic because Elon Musk is a rich white guy. In fact, the richest white guy to ever exist. But how dare he, this mentally disturbed, absolute piece of human garbage, go out there and accuse educators of committing treason? You know, I believe there is something deeply genetically wrong with Elon Musk. And the reason I say that is because I was looking, when I pulled up this article, there's a big photo of him. And it's not him doing anything crazy. It's just a photo of him normal. And I'm looking at his face because it's, kind of zoomed in. And when you really look at his face, when he's making a normal face, there's something wrong with him. Like, there's some kind of facial, I don't know if you would call it a deformity, but it's like you look at him and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, something happened to you. And then when you see the way he acts, then you're like, oh yeah, something happened to you. But I think Elon Musk's problems, of which he has many, I think there is something like genetically wrong with him. Like he has some kind of defects that have gone undiagnosed and clearly untreated that have just, caused this condition that he has to snowball. I'm not a medical expert, just a guy, but that is my opinion of that. And I think if you kind of really start to look at him under that lens, I think you'll see it too. But this is unhinged behavior. Of course, my wife is an educator. And basically, Elon Musk is saying if my wife goes out there and does her job, which she doesn't ever say it was built on stolen land. I don't know that any teachers actually say that in class. But basically threatening to imprison my wife. Other members of my family that are educators, other friends that I have that are educators. I have a very large group of teachers in my life. And then, of course, the millions of other people out there that are also educators that are not in my life. And he's threatening them with prison for teaching. This man is insane. And I sincerely hope that the next Democratic president takes a page out of Donald Trump's book and denaturalizes him and deports him out of the United States. They have the ability to do that. They have the authority to do that. And I sincerely hope that they do. I'm not in favor of mass deportations in the least, but I will make an exception for Elon Musk. A bunch of super chats came through. Let me kind of fire through these really quick here. First one here from Mogal says, with the Republicans now threatening impeachment, how can we actually trust that the Republicans will actually do the right thing instead of caving to Dumpy? You can't. Honestly, that's the simple answer to that. You can't. They're not going to follow through on it. So I wouldn't put a ton of stock into it right now. But obviously, we will see what happens as things unfold. Things could change, but right now, I don't trust those guys, as far as I could throw them. The One Mighty Pin says, that's one of our biggest problems right now. We aren't teaching enough history and it is repeating itself. Could not agree with you more. Absolutely. We are living through history from 90 years ago right now in the United States. And far too many people don't even know it. Farron, given how things are trending, what is your best case scenario for the Democratic Party in regards to the U.S. and what's your realistic scenario? Good. That is quite a question. Best case scenario is obviously Democrats win the House and Senate. Realistic expectations, we're 100% going to take the House and we're going to slim the margins in the Senate. I don't see us taking it all, but I'm also not going to be shocked if we do end up with, maybe a 51-49 split. But the Senate is much harder to flip. The Senate is always, a little tougher to flip one of those seats than it is a House seat. So I don't know, because every year, every election year, there'll be stories like, oh, Democrats are going to do it. No, we ended up not doing it. So I don't put a ton of stock in that. And we're kind of seeing a lot of that already come out. And I don't like it. But I'm not holding my breath on the Senate. The House, I think 30 to 50 seats. I'm thinking 30 to 50 seats is what we're going to flip. And that's not my, best case scenario. That's actually my expectation on that. So I do think we're in for a very great November, but I think the Senate still stays slightly out of reach in this election, unfortunately. Hopefully I'm wrong, but that's kind of the way I see that. Another one here from Scorpio ZA. Thank you very much. Says, nope, we don't want him. Elon can't be substituted, exchanged, or refunded according to the terms and conditions of the transfer. He can go to Argentina. He would probably fit right in with some of the folks that have gone to Argentina over the years, right? Actually, as I said yesterday, Venezuela is where we should just send all these people. They can live under Trump's regime there. Neat Noodle says, how is everyone staying sane? I know I need to take a break from politics, but feel it's my responsibility to not look away. We stay sane by trying to have fun with it. To the degree that we can have fun with the collapse of our society. But I don't know. I laugh a lot. I have fun here. I think everybody has fun. Who's not having fun, though, is Caroline Levit. Oh, poor Caroline. Hating her life. Now, before I continue, I got a warning here on my computer. It says your connection's unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. Okay, so I don't know. Just got that warning that the connection's unstable. So I'm not even sure if we're still connected. Seems like we're connected. I'm seeing some chats come through. So hopefully we can make it through this without my internet crapping out. Yeah, it's bad internet day. So, okay, everybody says I'm still here. Let's move on. Again, I'm maybe going to have to fire through these pretty quick because the internet's getting touchy. But Caroline Levitt is not loving her job. I know she seems like she enjoys it. She loves going out there every day and screaming at people. But screaming at people is actually not what her job is about. Her job is to answer the questions of reporters. I mean, that's literally your job. Answer questions from reporters. And Caroline Levitt really seems to despise answering questions from reporters. So this week, you had a reporter from News Nation, Niall Stenage, who asked this question. Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Noem spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year, 170 U.S. citizens detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly? Fair question, right? She says they're doing everything correctly. Here's everything they've clearly not done correctly. What say you, Caroline Levitt? And Levitt responded by saying, why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed? And the reporter goes, are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably. And she goes, okay, so you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion. And the reporter says, you asked me my opinion. What do you want me to do? And then Levitt says, yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. Oh, and you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat, but you're pretending that you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you raised in your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. That's not normal. That's not something that a sane, normal person does. Like, hey, it's your job to answer my question, so I'm going to do my job and ask you a question. What do you say, Caroline? Fuck you, you fucking asshole! Get the hell out of here! Okay, that's one way to respond. Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't even know how somebody just goes from like, okay, next question, how are you? And then, I hope your whole family drops dead and you get in a car accident on your way home, you lying sack of shit. That's psychotic, is what that is, Caroline. Now, look, I'm going to give her a break, okay? I'm going to say that maybe it's the pregnancy hormones, right? I mean, that can cause wild mood swings. Okay, so yeah, that could explain that to a degree. The hormonal imbalances, the hormonal overloads and surges. She could be exceptionally uncomfortable, could be painful. So she's acting out, right? Because it's not like she's ever done that before she got pregnant, right? No, she has repeatedly. So we can't even use that as an excuse. This is who she is as a person. An angry, bitter, in my opinion, psychotic individual that is just filled with hate. I mean, I'm assuming at this point that when she gives birth, we're going to be dealing with a Rosemary's Baby type situation. There is no way that a child that is being carried in a pure vessel of hatred is going to turn out okay. Like the spawn of Satan himself is likely resting in her womb right now. That is the only thing I can figure, because this woman is just so absolutely filled with all these emotions that will tear you apart from the inside out. She's not well psychologically, neurologically. Something is wrong with her. And I know a lot of the focus is on Donald Trump's decaying physical and mental health, but we need to look at the mental health of these other people. I talked about Trisha McLaughlin yesterday. She's a horrible, vile piece of shit. She's got something wrong with her, I firmly believe. I firmly believe there are absolute psychological problems with Caroline Levitt, because when you read these responses, and I know I try to make them kind of funny, but still, that may be doing you a disservice, because these are not normal responses. These are not normal reactions for somebody doing their job to you doing your job. They are indicative of deeper problems that these people need to have analyzed, diagnosed, and then worked out on a treatment plan. That is what needs to happen with people like Caroline Levitt. Or maybe you're just, evolving with your hate to the point where you can't contain it anymore, so that you're more psychologically prepared for when Satan's little spawn comes out of you in a few months. I don't know. That may not be the best way to phrase that, but it's how I phrased it. So it is what it is, folks. That was a weird segment. And honestly, I would kind of love to end it at this point, but I got to talk about Pam Bondi. That took a lot out of me. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect that. And hey, to be honest, that wasn't even the only quote I was going to read from Caroline Levitt. We just got on a different thing there. In fact, I kind of want to do this, because I'm not moving on yet. I'm gonna read this other quote from Caroline Levitt here, because this actually came in an interview. There was an interview published with Caroline Levitt this week by Politico, and Politico was asking her about this, MAHA, the Make America Healthy Again. We're bringing back whole milk, and all that nonsense. And they asked her, hey, they're doing this, which is good, sure. But Donald Trump also eats like a 4-year-old, and he's a big fat sack of crap. That's not how they worded it. I'm just paraphrasing a little bit. But they're the guy is deeply unhealthy, out there lecturing other people on how to eat healthy when he eats fast food 8,000 times a day. So Caroline Levitt had this to say about it. The president has his own personal habits, but he understands the movement and the power behind all of these moms who have united in pushing for a real public health change, and he fully supports it and gets it. He's also a huge believer in choice for parents, in parental decision-making, whether it comes to education or health. He knows that parents are the best people who are best suited to make decisions for their kids, and he fully empowers that mentality. I wanted to read that just because it's so dumb. It's so many words to literally say nothing. He wants parents to be able to choose what they feed their children. When have they not been allowed to choose that? When has a parent in the United States of America not had the choice about what foods they can purchase to serve to their children? The only thing that would ever hinder that choice is, of course, finances, right? You can only choose between the things, obviously, that you can afford, but you can nobody ever said children are not allowed to have whole milk anymore, ever. School, home, doesn't matter. You can't do it. That never happened. They never said you can't feed your kid Cocoa Puffs in the morning. That never happened. And she's out here framing this as an issue of personal choice, as if we didn't already have that. She's trying to say that Donald Trump has now given us something that we have always had since the inception of the United States. That's how deranged and deluded she is, and that's how much of a fucking liar she is. It drives me crazy, even when you have these like little statements that seemingly don't mean anything, that don't do anything. It shows you the depth of depravity that these people have in lying to the American public to convince them that Donald J. Trump is somehow actually Jesus H. Christ. His middle initial was not actually H. I just said it because I said Donald J. Couple super chats here, and then I'm sorry, I'm not going to get to the Bondi story. You're just going to have to tune in a couple days. I'll have it up then. It's worth a shot, right? Worth a listen, not a shot. I don't know why I said that. It's getting late. It's a Friday. My brain is already gone for the day, and it's way too early. But some super chat says, in Germany are watching what he's doing in horror. I can imagine. Anyone, honestly, in Europe, watching this man threaten to dismantle NATO, threaten to take Greenland. I have to imagine there is an uneasy feeling throughout all of Europe right now. Even again, as I mentioned earlier, with Tillis and Murkowski going over there to smooth things over. Yeah, like probably the worst two Republicans you could send over there. So my sympathies for you. Julie Andrews says, have you seen Natalie Harp, another Stepford wife? Natalie Harp, that name sounds very familiar. Not 100% familiar with who that is, though, unfortunately. Scorpius ZA says, I've been seeing news about Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie going to court to ask them to appoint a special master to release the rest of the Epstein documents. Thoughts? Yeah, actually. And I actually did do a segment on this the other day. I think it's great. I think it's brilliant. And I love the way they actually phrased it to the judge, because they told the judge, they're like, hey, listen, we understand she's violating the law and that's criminal, and we are going to deal with that. But right now, we're going to put that aside, get to it when we get to it, but you got to put a special master in place to get these documents out. So they did a brilliant job in their filing, and I do think this is a good idea. And honestly, for Pam Bondi, it's the best case scenario, because then she gets her hands clean, right? So if they release something that's really bad for Trump, Bondi can be like, well, I didn't do it. The special master did because he's biased against Trump, these SOBs. So it'll work out in her favor, honestly, if they go that route. Listen, that is all the time we have for the live show today. The live shows this week, actually, unless Trump bombs another country, then I'll be back live over the weekend. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Not just because I want to go do other things this weekend, but because obviously I don't want global instability, but also a little selfish. I do have things I want to get done tomorrow morning. But if there is peace over the weekend, I will be back with you Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. Thank you all for tuning in today. We went really long today, longer than usual. Take care of yourselves. Unplug a little bit if you can, if you need to. If not, keep at it, obviously. Lots of great content coming up throughout the rest of the day. Make sure you're sharing it widely on every platform you've got. And until then, have a great rest of your day, a great weekend, and I will see you bright and early Monday morning.